Discovery, go at throttle up. Discovery, go at throttle up.
Okay. How's everybody? Everybody doing swimmingly? We have to beam today. Alright. Let's get to it. How's everybody doing? Everybody doing fine? Yeah? Everybody okay? Headed to work. Oy. Oy. Beam me in the head, sir. What? No. No. That's bad for you. That's bad for you. Here, let me get this. You're already at work. Huh. Free game in the apps in the Epic Store. Huh. No. No. Did I have a good fourth fist? Yeah, it was good, man. Alright, so we're going to play Beam for early hours today. Yeah, we should... I want to see if we can make a rally car. How did your test flight go yesterday? Well, it's back on the ground. It's back on the ground, so that's good. Alright, we need to make a rally. It had some problems during coming out of Transonic, but that's okay. It's okay. Alright, let's load up Beam and we'll go. Come on, you. There we go. So yeah, it had some problems coming out of the Transonic regime, but we know that there was uncertainty with the real one. The real one would do that. It just doesn't like that dang mod, does it? So, rally, huh? We're gonna try to do some rally today, but here's the thing. What I like doing is I like rallying. I want to make a rally car out of a car that has no business being a rally car. So we gotta find here. Let's go to Italy. So a truck. Oh, are we gonna mess with the pickup truck? I mean, we can. Digging the cops that yeah. Gollum, do you have any idea how fast you were chatting? Do you have any idea how fast you were chatting? A four-door hatchback? Well, there's a lot of rally cars that are four-door hatchbacks. I mean, we could use the truck. But I think I found a way to to have an even... Ah, there we go. I think I found a way to get a even better or more unorthodox car to rally around. Ah, yes. My old friend. It's kind of a four-door hatchback. I gotta make the 4x2 Pigeon a rally truck? Why do that when I could have my car? There it is. That's my car. That's my car. I own this one of these in real life. Rear-wheel drive, it needs a Lancia badge. It's my Dodge. It's too clean to be your car? You shut your freaking filthy mouth. I found the Cornet mod. We used to have this, but it wasn't in the game. They took it out of the game. Like I was reading into it, and the Beam guys like were all about like no with the with this mod because I guess it got too close to the original or something. But they did put the Coronet mod back in the game, which is funny, which is weird. But yeah, the Gladiator. This is the Gavril Gladiator or just the Dodge Coronet. It's the same thing, which is pretty cool. Something like an Elko would be hilarious. Yeah, okay. I think I put another car in the game. Where was it? Ah, yes, the Covet, the new generation Covet, right? We have the old one, and then the new one. What else did I throw in here? I don't know, but dude, the jet truck that we made the other day was nuts. We got to make a rally car. I want to make a rally car out of something that you would never expect to be a rally car. What about this? What about the Grand Marshal? A van? You ever check out that Pikes map? I haven't in Rage. No, but I should. This is just a Crown Victoria with Chevy Caprice bumpers. A rally forklift? Like, come on. We gotta find a rally. Here, hold on. We gotta find a rally circuit here. Let's see if we can make a rally circuit, just like we made a hill climbing circuit. Ooh, is this on dirt? Is this on dirt? Is that dirt or is it pavement? I can't tell. Oh, here, let's find out. Oh, it's dirt. Oh, wall tap. I'm sure that's fine. Oh, this is good. Yeah, this is mint. 'Tis but a scratch. Scratch your bumpers off. No, it isn't. Well, what's that then, Joe? I've had worse. Come on, you pansy. Oh, this is money. Yeah. We didn't need that weight anyway. Hey, all right, rockets have parts that fall off all the time, okay? And I know a lot about rockets, all right? Rockets have stages that fall off, all right? All I'm making, you know when they're talking about like a stage 1 upgrade to a car, stage 2 upgrade? Boom, there you go. That means parts fall off, all right? Destroyed. How do you feel now, Chad? How do you feel now? Okay, but where is the village for all the parts to fall? Bro, we're in Italy, not China. Whoa, 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 whoa. Thomas, hey, we don't take too kindly to intolerant types. I like this for a rally circuit right here. Go up here. How about we start? I think Ford is the leader in that tech. Think someone would do that, Balxy? Just go on the internet and tell lies? Oh, this is mint, dude. Mint rally course right here. It's a downhill. Oh! Oh! Yes, this is awesome. Oh man, we're gonna die. Yeah, we are gonna get killed. Where do we go from here? We can go over here. I smell death. There's gonna be a lot of not good things happening here. Oh boy. I smell burnt toast. So we can start right there. And we could go all the way down right here. Oh man. And then we go all the way down here, all the way down there, and then a straight shot down to there for victory. Do you smell Hootie and the Blowfish right now? Look at this fine Italian coast.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Yes. Yeah. Alright, so here's what we'd do. Here's what we'd do. Do what more good like. We need to put down a barrier here. To make the start-finish line. Oh. No, no. Hey, hey, hey. Hey. There. I'm sure we won't hit it. It'll be fine. There, see? There. Alright. So there's our start-finish line. And... oh, man. This is gonna be... this is gonna be not easy to do. Alright, and unlike the hill climb, we're going downhill. Do we use this? I don't think this is going to end well. We might, it's on a chassis. You know what? You know what? Let's do it. For science. We'll mess with the Crown Vic. Alright, let's see. Let's just see. Oh, man. Oh, okay. 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 This is a little different. Dude, you gotta... I've never done any type of rallying, ever. Anything. Nothing. Not even in a video game. Oh, this is gonna end so poorly. We're dead. Oh, no. Oh, we Pikes Peaked it. Oh, God, no. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Does that mean it's not coming on then? Good going, Hammond! Jeez, this is not gonna end well. Maybe I should try to at least drive this with like an actual rally car. Hold on. Yeah, you know what? We'll just leave that there for science. Let me just see if this thing is drivable. What rally car is in this? Here we go. We need to basically turn that thing into this. Whoa. I swear, not doing that on purpose. Okay, so I have the handbrake, but I don't have a handbrake.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Hey, Mari. 33-month resub. Been a while again. Been doing absolutely nothing the last 2 weeks after finally getting that Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering onto the Masters. Yeah, man. Oh, shit. Oh, that's the same spot. Oh, no. Excuse me, some cursing might be had here. Oh, we die now. Okay. Maybe I should pick a more forgiving rally track. This one is tough, dude. Or get good. All right. Sounds good to me. Oh, it sounds so good though. So rally drivers would generally have a co-driver that's telling them what the next corner is. I don't have that, so I kind of have to memorize this, and that's why it's not really a long rally stage. Oh, I almost had it. Samir, you're wrecking the car, Samir. Hi, Pick. What's up, man? I don't know what's coming up after this. Oh! I shifted. Oh my god.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Ace! 24 months. Time flies, dude. It does, man. Dude, this is tough. Oh! Oh no! Oh, that is a rookie mistake. Hey, you think my steering is broken? To right, over crest, into death. I'm doing a flight sim flight from Sydney to Houston. So the top part of this course is very unforgiving, but the rest of it is okay. I think the rest of it, I'll be capable of driving it. So either way, we're gonna have a rally, or crashing. Either way, we're all gonna have a lot of fun, right? Bro, I wear the same socks. Nice, JRB. How's things, man? Everything good? Straight shot to the finish line. Oh my god! Oh! Oh! Correct! Oh god! No! We're alright. That money shifted it. Oh, this is so good, dude. The end of that is so awesome. Too bad I messed the car up. Samir, you're wrecking the car, Samir. Sammy. Some farmer's really angry about his walls now. Yep. Yeah. Enraged, we need to get that guy from the Cotswolds with the mullet. You know what I'm talking about? You have to get Gerald from the Cotswolds. I don't know, you're going to frig at the dang wall. So, don't frig at the dang wall. You don't think I'm scouting friggin' dang bricks all over the place. Alright. As long as 4 wheels are on, WRC counts it. Literally a 5-minute drive from you. It seems like a very beautiful part of the country, just remote. Still awesome though. I loved it. Clarkson's Farm was so good, man. So freaking good. It was an 8-episode Top Gear special about farming. I love it. I love every second of it. JRB, been super busy. Been a VOD watcher lately. Between work, new house, and the fiancé. How's everything going? Oh, dude, everything's great, man. I can't complain. So, alright, so we need to take that thing, right? And we need to do that to our Crown Vic. We're going to make a Crown Vic rally car, I think. I got to find the start-finish line. I don't even know where it is. Man, that is a tough rally stage. It is real tough. So, we got to take this. We gotta take this, and we have to do that to this. Oh, it's still in drive. Nice. Too bad about that profit, though. It's an off year, Shy. I don't think there's anything wrong, honestly. For Jeremy's first time, I think he did pretty dang well, given the circumstances with COVID and everything. I think he did just fine. That farm will turn a profit all day. It'll turn a profit all day, especially after Clarkson's Farm came out. Maybe that's the reason why he did it. Jeremy. See, Jeremy's smart. Jeremy's a smart dude. He's a very smart guy. You got to play. Sam, listen to me. I beg of you. All right. I'll do it. So, what does it take to make a rally car? Seriously, how hard can it be? So, first thing off, rally cars are very, very light. They're very light. They put down a lot of power, and it's like halfway between an off-road vehicle and a car. Because it's a car that goes off-road. Oh, great analogy, EJ. So no, rally cars are very, very light. They have to stay very rigid. When you're on dirt, keeping traction on dirt is totally different than keeping traction on asphalt. So part of it is, rally cars have these nutso dirt tires here. It's almost a mudding tire, almost a bogging tire, but not. It's different, but it's not. It's a very hard compound tire to dig into the dirt. Let's make a Ford KA. Well, I was gonna switch it up. The whole thing is I wanted to make a rally car to something that has no business being a rally car. That's kind of my MO. See if we know enough about engineering to take one of these cars that has no business going off-road and make it go off-road. Actually, the Wendover might not be a bad idea. That hill climb Wendover that we made was pretty nuts. Turn a minivan into a rally car? There's no minivan. I had a minivan mod, but the game deleted it. So I wanted to use the Grand Marshal, which is a full-sized sedan. You would almost never, ever, ever see a rally car made out of a full-size car like this. The NA86 Rally. DeLorean. There's not enough mods. There's not enough things that you can do to the DeLorean, Louiso. I would prefer to use one of the cars from the stock game because they have a ton of customizability. You can really engineer them. Sedans are used all the time. Yeah, but not a full-size like this, Plums. You need to take a smart car and make it respectable. Actually, Dish, have you seen Cater Tot? Hold on. You want to see a respectable smart car? That's a respectable smart car. No. This is not a mod. That exists. Well, that Crown Vic Edwards is bigger. The Widgeon again? Maybe. Hayabusa engine swap? No. Yeah, you meant RL mod. Okay, cool. Well, no, this doesn't have a Hayabusa engine in it, guys. No. Something a little bigger. Note the offset on the rear wheel. So this is done by a YouTube channel called Faster Proms. Faster Proms is an aftermarket tuning that they work with Cletus for the longest time. But they made Cater Tot, and Cater Tot, well, there we go. There's a good picture. Who knows what that is? This thing, it's a turbo K series from a Honda. That thing screams. I think it's a K24. Yeah. Also note the plates, Euros. Note the plates, Euros. That's totally street legal. God bless America, man. Yo, it's got a K24 in it. It's got a K24 with a turbo. This thing has like 500 horsepower. Yep. That's right, Strixie. That's Faster Proms. That's Cater Tot, man. Oh, God. It's so legit. Yeah. So that, I like, make a smart car respectable. I don't know if there's a smart car mod for Beam, but, it's legal in all 50 states because it's legal. You could drive that you could drive that anywhere, Vasu, as long as it has plates. Yeah, Shy, dude. You can do stupid stuff to cars here, and it's totally cool. As long as you're not bothering anybody else. Have you ever noticed the dog sticker on the back window of the cop car? I gave it to Jeremy. Merkers, you know him? Oh, dude. Jeremy's the friggin' man. I love that guy. On the back of Uncle Sam, dude? Oh, dude, Mercury. I've met him a few times. Oh, dude. Dude, Faster Proms is awesome, dude. I love that C4 that he has, the Legend. That's so freaking cool. Backside window. That's awesome, man. I love all the tuning people that Cletus introduces. I freaking love those guys. What Jeremy Laz and George do is freaking nuts, man. They do some awesome work. I wanted him to tune my F-150, but he wouldn't do it. Yeah. And then, dude, don't even get me started with freaking the other guy that Cletus uses, the KSR. Kevin's insane. Merkers, have you ever met that guy? Yeah, the Legend, his dad's C4 Corvette. That car is so damn cool. It makes me so happy. I like C4 Corvettes. I know that's the Corvette that nobody cares about, But I think C4s look amazing. I think it's such a cool looking car. Chevy put so much time and effort into, I mean, that's a Grand Sport right there. That's a really, really nice car. Chevy put so much time into engineering this damn thing. They actually delayed the Corvette model year by, they delayed this car by a year. Seriously, like rocket, because it's rocket science, man. For the early 80s, they delayed it. There was no 1983 Corvette. There was only an 82, which was a C3, and then in 84 they rolled out with this. I think that car looks sick. I had models of this thing when I was younger. I think that C4 Corvettes are really cool looking. Yeah, Kevin's ridiculous. Dude, that guy knows more about aerodynamics than he lets on. Like a lot more about aerodynamics. I wouldn't be surprised if he's an aerospace engineer or something, or at the very least a mechanical engineer. He really knows his stuff. Vetheads hate the C4 because they never go above highway speeds. But pray, okay, all right. Look at this. Look at underneath the hood, man. This thing is righteous under here. You got double wishbone suspension with coils, right? The only problem is that that boat anchor of a freaking engine underneath. That LT1 is junk. And I just pissed off a lot of people that like LT1s. LT1s are okay. Dude, put an LS in this thing, oh my god. And, don't get me wrong, I'm not like, oh, LS swapped the world, but this thing deserves an LS in it. I love the chassis design on the C4 is righteous. Like, all modern Corvettes are based off of this. Well, probably not the C8. But the way they had this set up, the way they changed it over the C3, this design, look at it. It's just a chassis. It's a chassis with freaking suspension on it. Dude, you can make this into a freaking rally machine, man. Or not even a rally machine. You can make this into a track car all day. It just needs a little bit more power. I just watched the view count drop after you crapped on the end. LT1s are okay. They're okay motors. This thing. Yeah, with some... But it's such a good chassis to start with, man. I would love to buy one of these days. I mean, it ain't that's for sure. But... Alright. There's no Corvette mod, Shy, or else I would. So we're gonna rally this thing, okay? Actually, you know what would make a good rally car? The Wendover. This is a car that they just added very recently into the game. The Wendover is not... One Civic with giant turbo. The Wendover, you can make this all-wheel drive. This would be a pretty cool little rally car, I think. Yeah, we could... Actually... Kind of want to do that. Oh God, it's a 90s Econo box. Yeah. You know what? We're gonna make the Wendover do this. All right, we got to get a baseline time. Get the stopwatches out. We'll get a baseline time. This is with the base model Wendover, and then we'll work on this thing. To piss literally everyone off, get a C4 and put a Ford engine swap in it.
Go and throttle up.
You'd have to use a 302, Jared. If you were gonna... Sounds so bad. Oh, dude, that's awesome, Merkers. If you wanted to put a Ford engine into a C4, it would have to be a pushrod engine. There's no way you're fitting a dual overhead cam mod motor in there. There's not a chance. It wouldn't work. There's not enough clearance between the posts, and I don't even need to measure it. I can tell you that right off the bat. The LT1 motor is a pushrod engine. Pushrod engines are inherently way more compact. Hey, Play, 26-month resub. Is this real life? Yeah, you would need to... The motor that I would put in that thing is a 302 from a Ford Explorer here, so... So they made the Windsor motor, and the final iteration of the Windsor motor, Ford's pushrod V8, was in the Explorer. And you could, this thing right here, they put it in the Mustang, they put it in everything. That's the final iteration of it. That would fit. Because that is also a pushrod engine. Or a 5.8. A 5.8 might be a little too big. You could take a 5.8 from an F-250 or something. That would also work. Because it's based off of the same block. Yeah, hang on. The F-250 5.8 engine, the thing that came in these. I mean, it's a truck motor, so you'd have to really do some work to get it to not suck. But yeah, that could work. It'd fit. It'd fit. It's just a Windsor block. It's a Windsor block that's bored out, that's punched out to 5.8 liters. That'd work. You might have some problems with the clearance. I think that LT1 is using a dry sump. My grandfather had a 1980 T-top C3 with a turbo 350. It raced an 11-second quarter mile. Of course, someone blew a red and blasted the front end of the car off, but I fell in with the 8082 facelift. Not bad car spray. I fixed one of those on the side of the road a couple of weeks ago. Seriously, there was an 80 Corvette. Dude, I went to get nuggets after a stream. I went to get chicken nuggets after a stream at a McDonald's, and the only McDonald's is the one that's open on the highways. Because everything shuts down in Boston because stupid. So yeah, Merkers knows the story. I was pulling out of the drive-thru at the McDonald's at the rest stop, and I saw a father and son on the side of the road, or at the gas station at the rest stop. This is the 128 Service Plaza in Newton. It's not far from my house. They had the hood up on the car, and I pulled up. Like, I didn't even think twice. I went over there. I'm like, yeah, whatever it is, I can fix it. I went right over, and I pulled up. I'm like, hey, guys, how you doing? They're like, who the hell are you? And I'm like, no, I got this. What's wrong? Tell me what's up. So I asked a couple of questions, looked around, and I knew I could fix it. Because, like, you got to think about it like this. I asked him, like, what's wrong? And he's like, well, the car just won't start. It won't start. We go to turn the key, it won't start. And it won't start, and smoke comes from the engine bay. And I'm like, smoke? And I was like, the first thing I thought was like, oh, the guy must have blown his head gasket or something. But no. I looked underneath, and I saw that the ignition wire to charge the starter solenoid was old, and it was frayed, and it was grounding out against the brake master cylinder. So I'm like, see that wire right there? Tape that wire up. So after a little bit of time, I looked around, we taped the wire up, I undid the battery from the post, plugged it back in, neutral safety switch cycled, started the car, started right up. The guy was like, where did you come from? Who are you? Where did you come from? I'm like, I just wanted chicken nuggets, bro. Yeah, I fixed some guy's Corvette on the side of the road. It was dope. The guy's like, you want gas? I'm like, nah, I'm good. And they're like, what do you do? I'm like, I'm an Amazon contractor. I gotta go buy. No, I already bought him sneaky. I didn't want anything, dude. I didn't want anything for it. They were driving it home. They just bought the car. They were driving it home, so they didn't know anything about it. But the wire harness in the truck, the wire harness in my truck, the one that we've been working on, that I've been cutting and splicing to an old Ford harness, right? That's a 1980s GM harness. So I knew the harness back to front. Like, you guys know me. When it gets stuck in my head, it gets stuck in my head and it won't go away. Like, so I knew exactly what to do. Like, I knew exactly what was wrong once I found out where the spark was, and I was like, no, you got electrical tape? And he's like, yeah. So I'm like, tape that wire up, undo the battery, put the battery back on, cycle the neutral safety switch, start it. Started right up, and the guy was like, thank you, man. A tow would have cost me like $1,000. I'm like, where you heading? He's like, Providence. I'm like, you're in Boston. And he's like, yep, that would have really sucked. Yeah, it's a nice looking car, Prey. Those rims, though, need to die in a fire. C3 Corvettes look stupid with low profile tires. Hey, Hammernails, what's up? Anyway, let's get going, dudes. Alright, so we need to baseline this. We are going to turn this Wendover into a rally car like that one. Stopwatch is ready. All right. I'm just going to drive this pretty slow, dudes. I'm not going to push it. All right, ready? Oh, yeah, it's an automatic. Anything looks stupid with low-profile tires. You know what, Luizo? It depends. It depends on the car. Like Euro sedans look great with low-profile tires. American cars look stupid with low-profile tires. I don't know why. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. That couldn't have been good for the transmission. Stanced MR2? Yeah, it's alright. Alright. Personally, I like the rims you had on it. Oops. Stop the clock. Stop the clock. Sorry, I was reading chat. I gotta get in the feel of it. Sammy, you're wrecking the car, man. You're wrecking the car. All right. Is it bad if it's in drive and the thing it's barely creeping? Oh god, that's terrible. All right, no reading chat. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. It's fine, Stone. It'll be all right. We gotta palm the wheel. There we go. But Frey, if that's the rims that your dad had, then yeah, it's cool, man. Not for me, but everybody has different tastes with cars, dude. It's like being objective about music. You can't be objective about music. It's not engineering, it's art. You know what I mean? If you think that looks good, it looks good. If I think I'm gonna crash, I think I'm gonna crash. God damn it. That turn is really tough, dude. It's really tough. The track falls away from you. And there's that damn tree right there. Damn, dude. Gotta start again. Alright. Get the stopwatches ready again. I'm having trouble putting down a baseline, but hang on. I gotta look at the track first. Alright, so it's these hairpins that get you. It's this one right here. This corner is tough, dude. Because look, alright, so the reason why this corner is tough is 1, you're on dirt. 2, there's no banking here. So this is called an off-camber corner, right? So it has a little bit of bank right here. So when you drive this, we're going to need to put the tires in here somewhere. That's where the road goes down, right? So this is an off-camber corner. So if you picture like a NASCAR corner, like from an oval track, right? That's on camber by like 30 degrees, right? It's a bank corner. This is off camber. Off camber means there's no bank or it banks to the opposite way that the turn is going. Out here, see this? See the banking? Yeah, if you let the car run outside here, you're going right into that tree. Or you're doing what I did and going right off the ledge. You gotta be careful there. So you gotta see because it's a dirt road, see the inside here is banked inward, but if you get to the outside, it's banked outward. You got to cut this corner here through the grass to get it right. It's treacherous. This is a really hard corner. If you're outside at all, this is all off camber. Your car will just go straight like it's been doing, right? After that, this doesn't seem too bad. But yeah, it's these hard hairpin corners right here, and then that one right there that's really going to screw with us. But here, let's try it again. The base game as a track designer, just put some waypoints and go from there. Oh. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, you can't lock the tires either. You lock the tires, you're going straight. Gotta be so careful. Alright, here we go. Here comes this corner. Stay to the inside. See? See the car bump around that corner? You can hook it around that corner if you get to the inside. Oh no. Don't do this. I'm still going. I'm still gonna go. Nope. Nope. We're stuck. This is tough in this car. This is really difficult in this car. What engine are we rocking? Whatever the stock motor for this is, Ian, we're gonna... Alright. I gotta get a baseline somehow, dudes. Handbrake? I don't have a handbrake, dude. It's on the steering wheel. The problem is when you're turning, it's really hard to hit the damn handbrake. Adjust the brake pressure. I'm trying to get a baseline stone, so let's try it again with the stock car. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. I don't know why I put the clutch in. It's an automatic, idiot. Alright, so this is a tight corner. Brakes. Well, then I have to reach for it, O-Force. It's over here. I need something that I can grab at pretty easily. Sammy, you're wrecking the car, man. Oh, gosh. The non-posy. See that? See the engine going... That means we're getting wheel slip. Map the gear stick to the handbrake. Well, what happens when I need a manual transmission? Alright, stay in. Cut it in. There we go. I was gonna say I could clutch kick it if it's a manual. That was close. It's fine. Rally cars are designed to get dinged up a little bit. Oh man, this is treacherous. Treacherous. Step on the brakes. Okay, alright. Oh god, dude, we have no steering ratio. This thing is floating like a mother. Look at, I'm doing this with the wheel. The car still goes straight. Damn ride comfort. This is a tight one. Okay, alright. Alright. Doing better. Oh! Yo, I'm calling it now. I'm gonna go flying off that ledge. Is there lag? No. I don't think so, Ben. Lag for the controller or lag for you on the stream? No, Badger, you're just in time. Samir, you're wrecking the car, Samir. Sammy, come on, man. No. No. Oh, man, that damn downhill. I'm going for it. Screw it. Screw it. Car's still good. Keep the timers going. It's fine. Don't mind that grinding noise. It's nothing. Oh my god. Okay. Remember to go back so you pick up your kidneys? It's fine. If you lose one, it's fine. Driving seems 50 times harder. Driving in this game is... They've improved it, Dev. When's the last time you played it? Alright, coming to the end of the track. Send it. Ready? Stop the clock in 3, 2, 1. Stop. Oh, God. There's no runoff there. Maybe we should adjust this to a place where there's more runoff. I might need to take the bus now. I think my car is broken. 4:20, 4:20 was our baseline. Oh, God. I mean, we're going fast through the fields right here, but I don't know if there's a good spot to have runoff. There's really not a good spot for it. I might need to change that a little bit, but this part is so gnarly though. Maybe for the last bit we could put it... For the last bit, like here, we could have the track like 180 and drive up this, excuse me. Excuse me. We can have it drive up to this intersection. You know, I think that might be a good way to do it.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Oh, thank you. I drive mostly race sibs, and Beam has improved a lot. Yeah, AK, Beam has definitely gotten way better, dude. Hey, Red Baron, 6-month resub. Thank you. Maybe we should... Angle. Maybe we should move the finish line down here, so you have to take this corner, right? And then you have to drive down here, and you can gun it. And we'll put the start-finish line over here.
Go at throttle up.
We'll put the start-finish line at the gas station. Aperto. Yeah, I think we should do that. We could keep our baseline time because it should still be relatively applicable because I, you know, crashed. There we go. Demolition Ranch bought a pre-1986 M2. He bought a Deuce. Ooh, pre-1986. Nice. I think adding this turn in here will make it so we don't gun it through the rest of this. And we, yeah, turn here and then the last part will be on pavement. Yeah. Yeah, see, this was good. This was good. Here, does it... Hey. Hey, alright. You don't need to tell me about that, Hellfish. Yeah, guys, that Deuce is a daka daka daka. Da, 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 da. Yeah, the last bit will be on pavement. Yeah, we high-centered. Okay, cool. We can just... Alright, that's the new start-finish line. So 420 is the baseline. Oh, nice, Badger. That's awesome. Alright. So, the Wendover. We need to make it do what that thing does over there. So... should we get a new baseline for the updated track? Yeah, let's do it. Let's get a new baseline for the updated track. That's the right move. Alright. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Ugh. So we're trying to baseline, Chill. That's what we're doing. She is very floaty. Trying to baseline this thing. Oh my god. Okay. Body roll is not what you want. You need the chassis to be about as rigid as you can possibly make it with this thing. It's floating. She's floating all over the place. Oh no. That turn always screws me up. Just keep going. Just keep going with the time. I'll take the time hit. Samir, you're wrecking the car. Yeah, a little bit, drummer. Oh, God. Okay. Samir, triple caution! Triple caution, Samir! Sammy, come on, man! You're wrecking the car, Samir! Oh, I'm dead. This is how we die. Yep. You know what? We'll just go with 420 and just. Yeah, I said I would do that. Just roll with it. Well, we rolled with it into a tree. All right, so we need to start doing some work to this car. It's a little bit floaty. A little floaty. Actually, a nav unit is probably going to help me. We don't need line lock. I don't care about the interior. ABS? Nah. Alright. You know what? We got to get down... We got to get down here into the suspension. Skid plate. Yes, please. Yeah, we could do with the skid plate. That's a good idea. Ah, rally coilovers. Yes, perfect. All right. We're gonna need. You need the thing to stay rigid. So a sway bar is basically a strut, like a strut in KSP, not a strut from a car. It's a bar that connects the two suspension sub-assemblies, left and right, keeps the chassis more rigid. It makes the suspension less susceptible to rolling. Rolling, I mean, by rolling, I mean body roll. We're gonna need race pads up in here. And something that we could do with is some quick ratio. I don't want drift steering, we just need quick ratio. We could put power steering on it, but that would rob us of power, so I'm not going to do that. And then the wheels, yeah. Here, let's see if we can find some rally wheels. Get rid of the hubcaps. Yeah, all right. Can we put rally tires on this thing? 205 65 R15 rally tires. Yes. Hey, there we go. Tires are going to make all the difference, dudes. Wait, we can put a dog dish on here? It looks so stupid. Yeah, let's just not put anything on there. I wonder if we could get like an actual rally tire. Hold on. Sandstars? What are these? Yeah. Yeah, the offset is not... I mean, those are nice rims, but that offset is not doing us any favors. 15x7 rallies. Here we go. There we go. Gotta be gold. Gotta be gold. That's very important. Oh, that looks terrible. Oh, that looks horrid. No. 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 $15 by 8? Oh. $16 by 8. Here we go. Much better. Much better. Where are them rally tires? This is a rally rim, but you can't put rally tires on it. Okay. I can put this on there, but I... We need slicks? Nah, slicks on dirt's probably not a good idea. Alder 423s. Can I put rally tires on this? I cannot. Alright, let's just... We'll go back to the rim that... 15 by 7 steel deeps. Okay. Yeah, I'll go back to those. Those looked fine. Let's try those. Hey, yeah, there we go. Yeah, we gotta get those deep. And you can put rally tires on these. There we go. Hey, alright, that's cool. That's really cool. Nice offset on that rim. It's got some nice dish. You see the dish? Very nice. Very nice. Alright, we got racing disc brakes in the front. I wonder if we can... Ah, there we go. Very nice. Oh, drilled rotors. Okay, so now we need to go out to the back But here's the thing. Here's what I'm doing. This is a front-wheel drive car. We're not doing that. We need a racing. We need a differential, and we have to put. I'm gonna convert this thing to all-wheel drive. Now, don't get me wrong. You can't just say, "Hey, this car is front-wheel drive. I want it to be all-wheel drive." There's the Wendover had a all-wheel drive variant from the factory. On certain cars, Si, you could, yeah. Mm-hmm. See, we can get these 15x7s here, but those 15x7s look like dog crap compared to those other ones. Maybe if I find some 205/65 R15s, will that look good? Oh yeah, that doesn't look bad. The offset, though, is caca. Yeah, we're gonna have to fix the offset. Hey, Pacey, 26-month resub. Thanks, man. You want wide stance with you want your tires wide apart. It's more stable that way. You want your track width, I think is what it's called. We'll modify that later. The Drive Pro 15x7s. Do we have any other? We have Super Rally tires, 205/65 R15. These rally tires are going to make all the difference. Put tank tracks on it. I don't think you can. Pacey, 26-month resub. Thank you. Rally transverse leaf. There we go. Yeah, all right. Give me some rally struts. We need a full race sway bar here. We need rear racing brakes. There we go. Full race rear brake pads. We have a limited slip. We're running a 354. Yeah, that should be 354 should be fine. Okay. So now we got to mess with the rear tires. I'm going to put those 15x7s on. Those are 15x8s. Oh yeah, now we're talking. The offset though is just horrid. Can you remove the windows and put nets in? You could take the windows out. Yeah, sure. I'm not sure if you could put a net in. It really depends on the car. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is, let's go up to that engine. We have a 3.3 V6 in there. It's a transverse V6, which is yuck. But we need to keep it light up front. We could put the V8 in it. We could put a 4.2 V8 in it, but you need good weight distribution with a rally car. That's really important. The 3.3 might be able to do us right. I don't want to put nitrous on it. That's yuck. We'll go with an adjustable ECU. Actually, you know what? Before I mess with this, before I mess with the engine at all, I don't want to mess with it at all. Let's just mess with suspension and see. That's usually what I do. Let's just mess with the suspension. We need the all-wheel drive. I need an all-wheel drive exhaust, so let's just put the stock all-wheel drive exhaust on there. And then the transmission, we got a 3-speed automatic, which is not good. I'll put a 5-speed in it. And we need an all-wheel drive transfer case, so we can spin all the wheels. You got to tell it. You got to put the transfer case in there. And we need to run 354s because that's what we're running out back. So, and then we need a limited slip up front. There we go. So, here's the thing. How this works is, all right, so our engine is transverse, right? our engine is transverse. It's connected to a transaxle, right? So basically what that is the transmission is right here going this way. And then at the end of the transmission, you have something similar to what you would see on a four-wheel drive transfer case, right? And then in this back part right here, this little piece on the back, that's the diff. This right here is called a transaxle. A transaxle is anytime you combine the transmission and the differential into one unit. Most front-wheel drive cars, well, not most, all front-wheel drive cars have a transaxle in the front. Okay? A rear-wheel drive car has the different, you know, in a typical front engine rear-wheel drive design, you have your engine, transmission, drive shaft, differential, and then your axles, right? That is a transmission. There's a transmission and a diff. When you take them and you combine them into one like that, transmission is the big thing on the left. This little thing on the right is the diff. That's called the transaxle. Now, if you have a rear engine rear-wheel drive car, like a Porsche or something, a Porsche has a transaxle as well. It's just a transaxle over the rear axle. We have a front transaxle here. But then, coming out of that transaxle, we have the transfer case. The transfer case is, well, basically it drives off the diff, and then it has an axle, it has a shaft output here that goes to a drive shaft that goes to the back of the car. So we do have all-wheel drive off of a transverse front like this. Did you get your battery issue resolved? Battery. Oh, Sloppy, no, not yet. I haven't worked on the cars basically since that last stream because I went on vacation and stuff. Hey, Ismic, what's going on? C22, how you doing? Yeah, we'll gut the interior here because we're making a rally car, but we'll do that later. So you have your engine, right, going into a transmission. We can have just the regular flywheel will be fine for now. All right, and then that goes into the transaxle, which goes into the diff, right? Which is the diff and the transmission combined, and that goes into a transfer case. Now, I think I need to mess with some things here because my drive shaft is going through a gas tank. Yeah, we don't want that. I noticed this last time we messed with this. You have to put a certain gas tank in. You have to put the all-wheel drive one, which has a recess in it for the drive shaft to go through. There we go. See, now this is really good. And then, you know, what I think we'll do is I'll cage this thing. Derby roll cage. What the hell is that? Yeah, no, hard pass. There we go. Alright, so the cage is going through the rear seat, so unless we wanted to put recesses in there, let's take the rear seat out. Interior fuel cell. No, I'm good. There we go. The hot exhaust pipe runs under the fuel tank. There's a heat shield. See the gray? Serious? There's a heat shield. Now what you're going to need is twin pickups here because your tank has two low points. That's generally not what you want with a gas tank, but Beam doesn't understand, but you normally not have the same front and back gear ratios. The transfer case is also likely geared. Oh, Kev, it might understand that. We're going to have to figure out what the best application is. Alright, so now we have the caged Wendover here. And I'm going to do some... Yeah, okay, so... One rally. Wendover one rally. Alright, so we got to mess with this. First thing I need to do is mess with the offset because it's atrocious. Is this the car with the cyber dashboard? Oh yeah, man. I put the nav unit in so I can see where the heck I'm going. So let's offset both of these out as far as they can go. There we go. They're 50 mil offset, and that looks a lot better. It's all-wheel drive now, Panja. The Wendover has the option to put a transaxle with a transfer case in. So it's all-wheel drive now. There should be a drive shaft carrier bearing right here, but there isn't.
Go and throttle up.
Kevlock, have a sub. Continue being awesome. Thanks, man. Now, tire pressures, you don't need to mess with that too much right now. I'm not going to go too crazy into the tuning. When rally. All right. So now we'll mess. We can make it look nice, or we could try it. We could try driving it. So this is our stage 1 when rally. Let's see what this does. All right. No engine upgrades, just suspension and rally. Ready? I'm gonna crash this. 1, 2, 3, go. Ooh, all-wheel drive. Got a lot of pickup with it. Okay, tight turn here. I mean, all-wheel drive definitely makes this a little easier to mess with on the dirt. And once again, this is just the same engine that we were using before. I didn't change the engine. And I still crashed. Well, the cage is gonna save us. Oh, I still binned it. Like a freaking idiot. I hate that corner, dude. Oh, I miss the years when the digital dashes. Yeah, right? Because we're in the future. I did put a 5-speed in, yeah. I gotta reset. I gotta look at that corner. That corner keeps screwing me up. Which one is it? It's this one right here, right? Yeah, this one gets me. I always think my brain, for whatever reason, is telling me that this just goes like that, and the road goes this way, and it doesn't do that. I gotta be careful there. Alright. Have to learn to flick. Hey, Sloppy Floppy! Welcome to Mission Control. You're going throttle up. Put a guardrail on it? Nah, I don't want to do that just because the crashing is funnier that way. Alright, ready? Get the timers ready again. 1, 2, 3. I have the parking brake on. Start that over. Gotta take the parking brake off first, moron. I agree, Grav. Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't know how we'll be able to flick around that corner, but this is the one. Not falling for it this time. Not today, corner. I don't have a handbrake, Shin. Okay, got a lefter. This is a tight corner here. Here's the hill. Slow down. It's a Wendover, Steiner? Hey, we're making decent time here. Not bad. Got a big, tight rider here. This would be nuts in real life. I see why people like doing this. This is crazy. In a good way. Hey T-Man, what's up, dude? Alright, here we go. Here's through the fields. Whoa! Yeah! Alright, we gotta start slowing down. Get ready to stop the clock. One, two, three, stop. Whew! We made it. We made it. 351. Not bad. 359.2, 358.3. Hey, all right. We'll round it up to 351. That's pretty good, man. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Not bad. Not bad. I like it. That's cool, man. Dude, with some engine upgrades, a little bit of good weight distribution on this thing will roll. It'll roll real fast. Yeah, Hip, it was good stuff, right? Yeah, Merkers, I can see why people like Rally. Now do it in reverse? No. You got the time of Ford 351. Yep. I only messed with the transmission and the suspension. This is the same, pretty much, it's the transmission, the suspension, and the cage. That's it. Same car. Well, we put all-wheel drive on it, and that had a lot to do with it. But no engine upgrades. Yeah, and some proper rally driving. Well, it's a little bit easier when you have these tires at your disposal. Suspension first. Yeah. The Honda upgrade. Yep. Nice. This thing's cool, dude. I like it. I like the Wendover. What is this thing supposed to be? It's supposed to be like an Oldsmobile, right? I think it's supposed to be like a old, like a Chevy, maybe a Chevy Lumina? Yeah, Merkers, hang on, I need to do some research. Chevy Lumina. Oh yeah, that's definitely what it's supposed to be. Did they make a two-door version up? Praise Dale, brother. Dude, they did make a two-door version of this thing. Okay, hold on. What engines did it have? Yeah, it could be a Beretta. You're right. Hang on. Chevy Beretta. Oh, alright. Oh, yeah. No, that's it. That's the Wendover. That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah, me neither, Sai. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, no, that's definitely the Wendover. That's absolutely it. Now, my question is, did they ever make this thing in 4-wheel drive? Wow, it came with a 5-speed in it. Oh, that's kind of cool. 3.1, similar motor displacement. Was there ever an all-wheel drive version of this ever made? I don't think so. Okay, Shy, no problem. Ours was front-wheel drive. All right, here, let's try this. All-wheel drive Chevy Beretta. My buddy and I are thinking of making a Beretta with swap over from the all-wheel drive Pontiac 6000. Pontiac 6000. Hold on. I have to learn about my early 90s GM junk. Okay. It's ugly. It's horrible. All right. Let's see. So this is an A body. So this is a GM A platform, and the A platform could have an all-wheel drive variant of it. The Celebrity 6000, Cutlass Sierra, Buick Century. Wait, they made that an all-wheel. There was an all-wheel drive version of this? Oh, yo, I'd drive that. The Pontiac 6000 said all-wheel drive. Yo. It says only the Pontiac had all-wheel drive. Yo, this thing had all-wheel drive in it? In a coupe? Oh. New for 1988 was an optional all-wheel drive system. It was mated to a 3.1 LHO V6, but only a 3-speed automatic. That's the motor. It has a 3-speed in the Wendover. Quit smoking. 10 months. Woohoo! Which did not help acceleration or fuel economy. The all-wheel drive system became standard for 1989, but was moved to the SE model for 1990. Since the ST model name was discontinued from the 6000 line and moved to the new 4-door Grand Prix lineup, the ST trim level was discontinued after 1993. Yo, that thing is all-wheel drive? Dude, we need to... Oh, man. Oh, see, now is the time where I really wish I had the shop. I'd take one of these. Take one of these and put, like, a K-Series engine from a Honda in it. I'm serious. Put a K-Series engine. Or if you want to stay Chevy, take a Cobalt SS engine and find a way and make a bell housing adapter to bolt it. It'll definitely fit. And then literally peel all 4 wheels with a car like this. Yo, that's actually really cool. Did they make this in a coupe? They had a 2-door. Yeah, there's the coupe. Oh, that's really cool, actually. Can you imagine 4-wheel burnouts with this thing? RB26 the world. It's the wrong engine configuration. We need a Car Toys. What? Wait, why? Whoa, hey, hey, nice shooting, Tex. The Cummins won't fit in there, guys. And it's a transverse engine. We need an engine that goes east-west, not north-south. Car Toys, happy birthday to me. $1 for each year. Why are you giving me a present on your birthday? Make it fit. Jeez. Did that series become the Grand Am? I don't know. But it has an all-wheel drive variant. That's really freaking cool. So Beam, it looks like Beam, in order to not get messed up with copyright, took the drivetrain from this and put it in a Beretta. What platform is the Beretta on? It's a GML platform. Oh, that's kind of cool. Paying it forward for your birthday? Thanks, buddy. Don't argue with the man. It's his birthday. I mean, okay. An L platform. Yeah. Dude, this thing's actually... Berettas are actually pretty cool. Look at that thing. That's a cool looking little car. They did fit a tank engine in a Crown Vic, to be fair. You're right. You know what'd be sick? Taking this and cutting the whole back out and putting a transverse engine in the back, Pontiac Fiero style. But at that point, you might as well just buy a Pontiac Fiero. Yeah, it's definitely... So the Wendover looks like it's a Beretta with the A platform drivetrain underneath it. I'm pretty sure that's what this is supposed to be. Cool. All right. We do need to mess with the suspension a little bit. That seems like the same car as the Opel Calibra. Yeah, most likely. GM does that. Dude. Over here we had Pontiac. Well, not anymore. We had Pontiac, Oldsmobile, and Buick. Now it's just Buick and Chevy. But yeah, they do stuff like that. They make cars that go all over the world. So Opel is GM in Europe, or at least it was, and Holden is GM in Australia, right? And then in the UK it was Vauxhall. Vauxhall is GM in the UK. Holden is the best spaceship captain of all time. Wait, what? Yeah, Vauxhall. Mm-hmm. Or Vauxhall. Let's say Vauxhall. Private division. Wait, what? No. GM sold Opel to Germany? Yeah, I think GM ditched Opel. They do that. Yeah, see. It's a German automobile, which is a subsidiary of Stellantis. Oh, God, not Stellantis.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Stellantis. I'm sure it's a very reputable company. I literally hate the name for whatever reason. I don't know why. I hate the name. Vauxhall is GM? Really? Yeah, you didn't know that before? Yeah. Yeah, Vauxhall. It's owned by General Motors. It's been owned by General Motors for a long time. They may have sold it, though. GM bled off all these other companies. It was a luxury car... Wait a minute. I'm sorry, that's really funny to me. Oh my God. Sorry. It's been owned by Stellantis since January of 2021. So GM sold it? Sources revealed that General Motors had reached a tentative agreement with Group A PSA, Pugat, for the acquisition of Vauxhall and Opel. Group PSA and Fiat Chrysler merged to make Stellantis. Ugh, disgusting. They own Dodge, too, and Chrysler. Can we not be owned by a freaking Dutch company? This is ridiculous. Goddamn Dutch. Goddamn, dude, I have a theory. I have a theory that Dutch people secretly want world domination. It's strange, but hear me out. Hear me out. To share a border with Dutch. No. They tried to take over the world once, all right? And we figured out what they were doing. Dutch hater! Well, now we have to kill you. No, hey, whoa, hey, relax. I'm American. We have the same interests, okay? Wait, what are my values? You ever have one of those existential moments where you go, it's like that skit? Hans, are we the baddies? Are we the baddies? Why skulls though? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, see? Freaking Dutch with your freaking Stellantis. What's Stellantis? What does that mean, Thomas? That doesn't even sound like a car name. That sounds like a company that makes body soap. Yes, Stellantis body soap. That sounds like a store you'd see in the mall that sells fragrances. Not a global car company. To be honest, I have no clue. No, explain yourself. No one knows what it means, but it's provocative. Alright, let's get this thing back up there. We did a 351 with this. We really need to mess with the suspension. I sure hope you're not the bad guys. I live on your airbase. We're not the bad. We ain't the baddies. We're not the bad guy. What are you talking about? The bad guy. The bad guy. I mean, is it a nice Air Force base? I'm sure it's a nice Air Force base, though. The name comes from the Latin verb stello. It means of he it that bright with stars. Okay. Yeah, that is a terrible car name. It's a terrible car name. Okay? It's terrible. It's a terrible name. It sounds like they make body soap. All right? Seriously, we need to liberate Dodge from the clutches of these dang Dutch people. Dutch haters. Sounds like a real estate broker. It sounds like they make body soap. Hey, I put the clutch in. What the heck is this? Sounds like women's shoes, right? It sounds like everything but an automaker. Like, and I'm not trying to be mean, but seriously, guys, you dropped the ball on that one. Stellantis? Gross. Anyway. Sounds like body wash. We are running 0 front camber. Oh, that's, that probably has a lot to do with why it's not handling very well. I mean, but then again, it doesn't look like this thing is running much camber. We're going to need to run... Yeah, it sounds like a commercial drug. Yeah, right? We're going to need to run a lot of camber on this because this thing is super susceptible to understeer because it has a lot of weight up front. Okay? Ask your doctor about Stellantis today. Okay, all right. While we're on the subject, pharmaceutical commercials are stupid. They should be banned. That's dumb. Talk to your doctor about it. Hey, doc, I think I need this drug. If I said that to my doctor, do you know what my doctor would say? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you the doctor here? I have a very strange relationship with my doctor. Hey, doc, I think I need this drug. Oh, are you a doctor now? Do you have a medical degree? Are you sure you need this? Oh, just want to be sure because, you know, I'm the doctor here, not you. Not you. I prescribe the stuff, not you. Are you sure you need... No, now you're not getting it. Ask your doctor about Stellantis today. It's so stupid. Alright. Is this thing running any camber on it? It doesn't look like this car has a lot of camber. Interesting. Now, okay, guys, I don't know much about rally. What type of tire pressures do you want here? I'm guessing you want high tire pressure, but... Yeah, possible death is a side effect. Yeah, about that. Yeah, Enraged, they should be over here too. That's dumb. You know what? I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna go look at the, no. I was gonna look at the suspension settings on that concrete block, but no, I decided not to. What is this thing running? Yeah, okay, so they have lower brake force. Yeah, okay, it is running a little bit of camber. It's running full camber on the back, even though it doesn't really look like it. And they're running... Okay, cool. This is running 25, so we're running 25, so we're actually pretty in the ballpark here. It looks like the car needs to be a little bit higher off the ground to get over those hills and stuff. Okay. And they're not running much toe, and they're running 0 caster. And, okay, toe left, right trim. So, okay, for the people that don't know, camber, caster, and toe are the variables that you generally have with suspension, okay? So, here, let me get in here like this, and I'll be able to kind of do an exploded view here. Actually, you know what we can do? Take the wheels off for a second. Taking the wheels off took the hubs off. Alright, well, whatever. This'll work. So, okay, what this car is running here is what's called a McPherson strut. So, basically, you have a lower control arm, which is that piece right there. It really doesn't look as good if you take the damn wheels off. Is there an option to just run... Here, let's just put that on there. Perfect. Alright, here we go. We can see it. So you have a lower control arm. The lower control arm is, well, it's not very well modeled, but it's that. And the lower control arm has a hinge that's right here, and then you have a ball joint that's right there. So it's like that Heim joint that we were looking at with that SpaceX structure the other day. So this basically, the lower suspension works like a lever, right? You know what? I'm probably just going to draw this in paint. It'll be easier. So you have a McPherson strut, and basically, if you're looking at the strut from the front, that hinge that I'm talking about is here. Here's the frame rail or the unibody on the car, right? And then the control arm goes down here, right? And then there's a ball joint right here. And that ball joint generally has a thread on it, right? And then coming from the top, up here, there's a strut tower, right? And that strut tower has the strut tower has the strut or coilover. You can call it whatever, right? The coilover is the spring, right? With the shock absorber going through it. It's a way to store the spring and the shock in a more complex or more compact design, right? And so coming down here, right, you have a mount right here that usually has some bolts. This is a basic suspension, right? And then you have what's called the steering knuckle. The steering knuckle, or the spindle, is bolted to the coilover up top, and then there's a slot here that goes around the thread for the ball joint right here. And then you have a spindle, right? Spindle is the thing that the wheel spins around, right? Right? And so, basically what happens here is that the control arm moves up and down, right? It can compress, and then the spring compresses and decompresses it, right? And then when you hit a bump, it goes up, and then it compresses the spring, right? And then the shock absorber controls the rebound, right? So you'd have, attached to this, you'd have your brake rotor, right? This is the braking part. And then you'd have your hub, right? And then the tire, the rim, I guess, would be right. The rim would be right here, right? This drawing sucks. And then your tire would be right here, right? So, and then the tire obviously spins around. But the reason why it has a ball joint right here is because you have another piece coming off the knuckle right here, and that has another ball joint attached to it, right? And that goes to the steering rack. This thing moves left and right, right? And then if you're looking at this from the top, right, you have your control arm, right? And then you have the ball joint. And then off of that, you have the mount for the tie rod. this thing moves back and forth, and that gets the tire to rotate. It's on a lever. So that's how you steer, basically. Now, in terms of suspension geometry here, right, you have a couple of different things to take into account. You have camber, caster, and toe. All right, so camber is how far is the angle here of your tires, right? It's the angle of your tires relative looking at it from the front. So it's measured in degrees off of 90, okay? So if you're running 90 degrees of camber, your tire is like this. Your tire is facing up, all right? 90 degrees of camber is pretty much useless. But on rally cars and on race cars, you'd run negative camber on the front wheels, meaning that the hub and thus the wheel would be slightly offset here. And then the degree angle right there is how much camber you're running off of. Once again, it's off 90. So if you're running 5 degrees, if you're running 5 degrees of camber, your hub is 85 degrees relative to the ground. So that means it's like this. It's not a perfect 90. If this right here is the ground and that's your tire, right? This angle right here is 85 degrees, and then this angle right here, relative to the ground, I guess, is 95, right? But they're usually measured off of zeroed, so this would be 5 degrees in here, right? In San Andreas, you can fly with 90-degree camber. I see what you did there. Pretty solid drawing. Thank you. So, that's camber. Camber is how much your tire is doing this if you're looking at it from the front. Then there's caster, okay? So, with caster, all right, we need a different drawing, right? So, this is camber. Which would be theta in degrees right there. Right? And then you have caster over here. If I can actually type correctly. So caster is a little bit different. Caster is if we're looking at this rotated 90 degrees. We're looking at it from the side of the car. So you have your rotor right there. There's your hub. There's the strut, right? And then there's the coil. There's the coilover, right? And then you can't see any of this because it's in the way. Caster is the angle of the strut on the long axis of the vehicle, right? So if I drew a dotted line right here, and once again, this is the front of the car, this is the front hub, right? And your suspension goes up and down, right? This is caster at 0 degrees, all right? Once again, it's measured off the 90, okay? This is caster at 0 degrees. If we want caster at 5 degrees, and caster is not something that you generally have adjustable on any road car. Caster is something that you can adjust it on race cars, but not on road cars. They really don't do this that much. Most cars carry a fixed caster angle, right? But what a caster angle at 5 degrees would look like is this. Your strut and your coilover would be going like that. That's greatly exaggerated. This is like 20 degrees of caster. That's 20 degrees of caster right there. So your caster is this angle right here. Okay. Hey, Alexis. So generally cars run with a fixed caster. Caster angle depends on what you're doing. It really does. If you're making a hill climb car or something, you know, because the car is going to be going up a hill, generally you kind of want a little bit of caster, right? Or if you're making a rock crawler, if you're making a crawler vehicle, something that's designed for four-wheeling, you'd want a lot of caster because you're climbing up rocks. And if your suspension is hitting an edge like this and your caster is at 0, say there's a rock you're trying to get up, right? And you're driving forward with the car, the suspension's going to go like this. But if it's out in front, it's going to go up. It'll go up easier. Caster is something you generally run with a lot of, with like off-road vehicles. I'm not sure how much caster we would generally need with a rally car, but we might be able to put some in. Where's the front of the car? That's the front. This is the front. So you'd run caster generally on your front wheels. You don't run a lot of caster on your rear wheels. It's all about all this stuff is generally based off of what you're trying to do. Okay. Hey, Giesen. Use a smaller amount of caster to compensate for the small crown in the typical road for... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. And then you have camber, caster, and then you have toe. Okay? Toe is if we're looking at the car from the top. This is a top-down view now. So you have your strut perch, right? And then you have your coil going down, right? And then you have the shock absorber part of the strut, right? And then we're looking at this basically from the top, okay? Toe is adjusted on the tie rod, but here, the tire on this car would be right here, right? And the front of the car is that way. And then you have your hub right here. You have your rotor, right? And then you have your hub, and that's connected to the tire, okay? Toe is... Once again, now we're looking at the car from the top down, all right? So you have your the steering knuckle or your spindle, depending, I mean, different people call it different things. And then you have the little lever arm that I was talking to you about steering. This is connected to another ball joint right there, and this moves left and right. And if that moves out, you pivot around the lower ball joint right there, and the tire can steer, right? Toe is the angle here between the way the front of the car is oriented and where the tire is oriented. This is toe right here. It's this. It's that. So if you're running toe, right, your tire would be rotated slightly inward. Now, why would you run toe? Having your tires rotated slightly inward, right, it makes it stable. Your car is more stable at high speeds. Doing that because your tires are basically pointing inwards, right? It's almost like an engine on a rocket pointing through the center of mass. Like if you look at an Atlas V when it launches, the SRB nozzles are pointed out. Toe does kind of the same thing, but yeah, you're generally more stable at high speeds with toe, but you wear the tire pretty badly because the tire is moving sideways, right? The pedal cam is blocking the picture a bit. Got it. All right, so this angle right here is toe. You adjust toe with the tie rod, which is attached to whatever you're using for steering actuation here. Outward toe for a race car, generally not, Waster. You generally want to run inward toe. Now, all of this stuff really depends, like the big thing to take away here. You have camber, caster, and toe. All this stuff depends on what you're doing and what kind of car it is, all right? That really is a big deal because camber, caster, and toe on your front tires are going to be completely different with a car that has the engine in the back than it is with a car with the engine in the front, right? Now, different camber, caster, and toe give you different. There's a different result from doing it. So if you're running toe, you're generally more stable at higher speeds because your tires are pointing inward, and it makes the car more stable because the grip is being exerted kind of sideways. But it do it at the expense of tire wear, right? Toe in also helps with steering, and that has to do with a phenomenon with cars, not a phenomenon, a principle with cars called Ackerman suspension. There's basically kind of an ideal wheelbase between the front and rear on certain cars. You ever notice how there's cars that are engineered from all over the world? There's cars from Germany, cars from Japan, cars from the United States, cars from Russia, cars from China. There are cars from Australia. They're all over the place. They all have very similar wheelbases. You notice that? Well, there's a reason for that, because you can get better handling if your front wheels are a certain distance away. There are shorter wheelbase cars, and shorter wheelbase cars generally don't handle very well at high speeds because you have to run more toe because the wheelbase is too short. Basically, when the tires turn, when the tires turn, they're pointing away from where the rear tires are. How you'd want like Ackerman to work, right, is if you have your, once again, we're looking at the top down here, right? If you have your front tires and then you have your rear tires on your car, right? And the front tires pivot, you generally want them, like your front wheel, to basically be pointing at your back wheel when you're full lock, when you're steering all the way to one direction. So when these tires, right, are turned like this, and you have rear tires here, right, you'd want this tire to basically be pointing right there. That makes it nice and stable. You'll be more stable going around the corner doing this. And I could get more into the geometry behind it, but it is a lot. There's a lot of math. There's a lot of trig and a lot of quadratic movement when it comes to, I think it's quadratic kinematics. I could be pulling that one out of my tail. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this. And basically what you'd want with camber, caster, and toe, you'd use it to achieve a certain result, right? 88 degrees of camber on a Civic. Yep. Time to show the toe on the Mercedes. Yeah, right? Show again, please. Yeah, inward toe will also help your car go around corners a little bit better. EJ, this isn't just wheelbase, but a ratio of wheel track and wheelbase. Wider cars should be longer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right, Stone. You're talking about the relationship of the wheels on the track width and then wheelbase. There's a lot of geometry that goes into this. Lot of geometry, a lot of math. What would I go to school for with all this car stuff? Mechanical engineering is what this mostly is, DMOS. We're covering a principle of mechanical engineering. Well, you'd need to learn geometry and you'd need to learn trig from this, but this is quadratic. No, it can't be. Yeah, no, it is quadratic. I think it's called. It's quadratic kinematics, I believe, is what it's called. It's part of mechanical engineering. It's cool, Dimas. This is cool. This is tuning. You want to? I mean, race cars. You study all this stuff with race cars all the time. It's quadratic kinematics. And why is it quadratic? You remember that quadratic formula that everybody learned? Well, here. The quadratic formula auto-populate. Here, let's see. A picture is way easier to explain this with. So with quadratics, you have a line, and it's not, I guess it's parabolic. You can call it parabolic, right? You have a line, and that line, as you get further and further, the slope increases, right? Over time. Remember you plot lines. Anybody that's been through like high school, you plot lines with slope and y-intercept. That's straight. That's called linear movement. This is quadratic movement. And how this translates to, like, say, driving a car with suspension, for instance. The suspension works on quadratic movement, right? Because the more you get, like, when the suspension compresses on a car, the more it compresses, right? The more force the spring is applying, right? That's quadratic movement. So basically, when a suspension on a car, when you go over a bump, the suspension goes all the way up, and then the shock absorber absorbs it, and the spring compresses. So force increases, but the shock absorber is damping out that push, right? That's all quadratics. This is all quadratic movement. Yeah, remember plotting? Okay, anybody that's been through like high school, remember plotting out all this stuff? It was such a pain in the butt. This stuff basically is a visualization of how different mechanics work. That's why someone even bothered to figure out what quadratics were, because how suspension works can be plotted with the quadratic formula. That's the reason. All this stuff, you can use the quadratic formula to figure this stuff out. And then that's not even we're not even getting into sine, cosine, and tangent. Cosine, you'd use trigonometric functions to figure out force, right? So check this out. Want me to really mess with you? Look at this. So your spring, right? The angle that your spring is at this way, relative to the ground. So the camber, I guess, of your spring, it's not called camber, all right? Your spring angle, right? You're off the 90, right? There's a degree right here. There's a theta right there on most cars. You don't, the spring obviously isn't pointed straight up, but if your spring points down with like 100 Newton meters of force, right? If your spring is angled, right, at 80 degrees, right, you'd need to use cosine, right? Because you're getting a cosine loss in force. Your spring, because it's tilted, is not moving with the suspension up and down, right? So you have 100 Newton meters of force pushing down, and you're not pushing down at the 90, and the suspension is going up this way, right? So the spring force, right, inhibits a cosine loss, all right? Or the spring suffers from a cosine loss. Similar thing on the space shuttle when it launches, all right? Cosine losses deal with thrust and force, all right? So thrust is a force that gets applied to a vehicle, like when a rocket's flying through the air, right? So the shuttle engines are tilted out. The shuttle engines are applying force, just like that spring is, right? Now, with rockets, it's not a quadratic force. You just go up, right? But since they're pointed out, right when the shuttle launches, right, it goes this way. It slews off the pad a little bit because of the same exact thing. That's correct, Supercraft. You'd use a cosine to figure out how much spring force you're losing, and you'd adjust appropriately. Hey, Real, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, this is, see, like, if somebody had, when I was in school, if somebody had told me and the application of all this stuff, right? If someone had told me, like, the application, like, why this does what it does, right? I would have paid attention a lot more, you know? Hey, Real, give the sub to Supercraft. So, now, you know a little bit about camber, caster, and toe. Now, on this rally track, we have some things to consider here, all right? Let's go into the debug, right? And let's go into center of gravity, all right? So, center of mass on the vehicle. Where is it? Did I turn it on? Here we go. Center of mass on this. Turn it on. Okay, so check this out. Where's our center of mass? All right, this has something to do with it here. That's also why pushrod suspensions are used for sports and race cars. No cosine losses. Yep. Triangulation. All I did was blabber about cars in school. Math teachers never cared. Yeah, no need. This is what I try to do. I use Beam and I use Kerbal to show you why trig is important and why geometry is important and why calc is important, why quadratics are important. Like I hear kids come in here and always say, well, why do I need math? Well, there you go. You need math to figure this crap out. Was it difficult learning all this? No, Dimas. All right. The way I teach, and I do teach on here, that's what I do. I teach people about physics and mostly rocket science. I don't know if you could tell, I like space stuff. Yeah, I don't know what gave it away. I try to show people the end goal. That's what I try to do. So, Dimas, you showed an interest in this. You're like, oh, this is kind of cool. If you see the end game, right, at the very beginning of your journey into learning, it makes it a lot easier to justify learning this stuff in your mind. So, you know, like the movies? You ever watch like a movie and the third act is first? So, like in a movie, like an example would be the meme where it's like, this is me. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation. Literally that, but with teaching. I thought you liked biology. To an extent. Yeah, to an extent. right? Can you find a use for factoring polynomials? I don't know one off the top of my head. But, Demos, when you have the end goal, this stuff becomes a lot clearer. You can see the application of how this works. You can use cosine loss to figure out your suspension force, right? See, we have a strut on this one that's at like 85 degrees, so we're not getting much of a cosine loss there. Most of that spring force is being used to push the tire downwards, but some of it is being used to push the tire outwards. Now, see, here's our lower control arm. The ball joint should be right there. It's not modeled, though. And then there's the spindle. The spindle is holding the brake and the hub, and that's holding the tire. This right here is a constant velocity drive shaft. It's just the drive shaft that comes out from the transaxle. It goes through the hub, or it goes through the steering knuckle into the hub and turns the tire. So, now, with the rally car, we're suffering from understeer. Now, why are we suffering from understeer? Well, I didn't do any engine modifications, and we have this big old boat anchor of an engine up front. All right? Now, even though our weight distribution is pretty good here, the center of gravity of the car is pretty much right where the shifter is. That's not bad. It's a slight forward center of mass bias, right? Ideally, you'd want this center of mass to be somewhere right here. This is okay, though, right? But because we have that boat anchor of an engine up here, that V6, cast iron V6 3.1 that makes like 100 horsepower at best, right? Sorry, 90s American cars. I'll just apologize for that. My bad. Right? We need to figure out a way, like this motor has a lot of what's called moment. All right? It has a lot of moment over the center of mass of the car. Now, what does that mean? Well, long story short, moment can be described as effective force over a pivot, right? So if you have a seesaw, right? You have a seesaw and you put me on one side. Now, I'm not light by any means. I weigh, what, like 110 kilos or something? 250 pounds. I'm heavy, right? So let's say 120 kilos. And you put 1,000 kilos on the other side. If you put a ton, what's the seesaw going to do, right? The seesaw is going to shoot me off like a catapult into space, right? And hopefully I have a parachute, right? Moment works pretty much like that. Because we have a big, heavy engine up at the front, that engine has leverage over the center of gravity, okay? This is why you can have a car with 50-50 weight distribution and it can still handle like crap if you have too big of an engine. This is why I didn't want to run the V8. Because if we ran a V8, yeah, we'd get more horsepower, but the car wouldn't be able to turn. Yeah, Grips. So, because this thing has leverage, if I go to steer the car and I turn the car, the wheels will turn, right? But that boat anchor wants to keep going in the direction that I was going, right? So it's working against your wheels steering. That creates what's called understeer, where you go to steer the car and the car basically goes straight. Front wheel drive cars are very susceptible to this. Now, there's the moment that the motor makes over the center of gravity, but there's also the fact that you have a big, heavy engine sitting over your front tires. It's pushing those front tires into the ground. And pushing the front tires into the ground means that it's easier for the wheels to break traction. Now, we're on dirt, which compounds that even more. We could do some suspension upgrades, like camber can help with that a little bit. I mean, you don't want too much camber because then if the tires are tilted in, only a portion of the tire is touching the ground, right? But we do need to compensate for the fact that we have this boat anchor of an engine up front. And there's there's ways to get around it. Camber could do it, but I mean, we're on dirt. We're on dirt, so camber might not. Yeah, running 5 degrees of camber up front should be okay. Nice one, sister. So what we got to do is we could get into the tuning, and I could mess with this. Spring rate, we're gonna dial that in from testing, but yeah, we might. Let's see, how could we do this? we could rake the car. We could rake the car by putting the rear end up in the air. So if I put the rear end up and I add 30 mil into the rear end, see? That could help. But we generally want a little bit of ground clearance with the rally car. So let's put the front end up 30 mil and see. Yeah. I mean, that could... Raising it up might not do exactly what we want. Right, quite right. What would the rake do with aero? Well, we're not going incredibly fast. The rake would help us with, if we put a splitter on it, the rake would help us with traction at high speeds. High speed cornering is what the rake would do. If you're a fan of Formula One, Red Bull runs with a really high rake, so they can go around the corners faster. A rake, so dropping the front of the car and raising the rear end up, helps with high-speed cornering. Because, long story short, when the car goes around a corner, it transfers all the weight into the outside tire, and it pushes that tire into the ground so that tire can make more traction. Now, that can be coupled with camber. If you run high camber and high rake on a front-wheel drive car, you know, when you go to turn, the car is going to push all of its momentum onto that front right or front left tire if you're turning right, and that forces it into the ground, giving you traction around the corner. That's where camber would come in. But see, here's the thing. Rally cars need to have a high ground clearance here. We need to have a high clearance with the rally car because it's off-road. So you don't necessarily want to rake this thing. Yeah, JRB, right? Yeah, Quake Cry. I know. The crashing part is fun, right? But I like screwing around with the physics. And Beam is good enough. The simulation is good enough to be able to teach this stuff. You can really mess with this. Yeah, Sam, I'm with you on that one.
Discovery, go at throttle.
91 Pontiac 6000 made over 300,000 miles before it died. Well, yeah, dude, that's right. I'd prefer that with a road car because road cars aren't about performance. Who cares if you go fast? It's a daily driver. You get groceries with it, right? I'd rather have, so like what manufacturers do, and GM did this with the 3800 V6 and small block Chevys for what it's worth, and LS motors. You ever wonder how people could just get crazy amounts of power out of an LS engine? Because most motors from the factory are detuned hard for reliability, right? Basically, if an LS motor can rev to like 7,000, I don't know much about LS motors, just bear with me. If the motor, the best the thing can do is rev up at 7,000 RPM, what they'll do from the factory is they'll set the rev limiter at like 5,000, right? So that way you never ever will get near a point where the engine will, you know, visit Rodney, you know what I mean? They detune all this stuff from the factory. That's how, you know, like even a tune on a car will get you more power at the expense of reliability, right? But yeah, this stuff is not, like, dude, I agree with James May when it comes to this stuff. Road cars don't need to be a Nürburgring tested automobile. That's a gimmick. If you have a car that's good, that's capable of going around the Nürburgring fast, I bet you it rides like trash, especially on roads with bumps. I bet you it rides horrible. I want a comfortable ride in my road car, you know what I mean? Like, I'm with James May on that. I hate that every car has to be Nürburgring tested. That's so stupid. Because you're encountering those conditions when you go to get groceries, right? Like, hang on a second. Anyway, mechanical engineering. One thing it'll make you know that there are upsides and downsides. It's all about applications, Python. All right, with that being said, I dialed in some camber and I raised the ride height of this car. Let's make it look cool. And we'll see if we can break 351 with our suspension upgrades. See, also, we want to move our center of mass, try to move the COM back, so we got to take weight off the front if we can. Not sure how we can do that. There's not much to remove from the front unless we can run like a facelift front bumper. Let's see what that does. Remove the front seats and keep the rears. Push the firewall back. Nah, you can't get that crazy with this thing. Maybe it's not about removing stuff from the front. What we could do... We could put the lip on there. A front lip will help us with aero, but that's really only at higher speeds. But we don't want to add too much weight, because if we add too much weight, that motor won't be able to push us at any reasonable speed. See, it's all a balance, you know? You know what? I'm just going to go with our suspension upgrades. We'll do this. Let me just go... When rally? Alright. Let's see what this thing does. For this, you want downforce. Yeah, but we're not... Yeah, I suppose to an extent. Rear mount the radiator? Oh, dude, I don't... In real life, that would be sick. But I don't think this thing has a rear mount radiator mod for it. I'm really kind of... You can only do certain things here. Alright. Let's do this. I'm going to try to race on our rally track. The time to beat is 3:51. Now, the last configuration that we ran with was this car, but not without the suspension tuning. I tuned the suspension a little bit to see what it... Yeah, it's a G29. Mm-hmm. So a rear wing might do it at high speeds to help push the rear tires into the grounds. We might want something to an extent, like what most rally cars have, but you don't want too much rear wing, because then it's just going to cause drag. Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Let's see if that camber helped us with the understeer. Yeah, a little bit. This thing's pretty quick. Alright, here's the death turn. We gotta cut it inside, get the wheels into the grass. Oh, jeez. I hope that didn't mess with the wheels. Car seems okay. This is another death corner. It looks fast, but it's not. There we go. Sorry, I forgot to do that whole clutch thing. Still got a lot of body roll, man. This car floats. It floats pretty bad. We need to... I don't know if we should necessarily tighten up the suspension, but it does float. Oh, come on now. It's gonna mess with my stage time a little bit.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
What up, Barrelicious? 43-month resub. sure what I'm doing is great for the transmission. Oh, almost money shifted. Sammy, you're wrecking the car. Sammy, come on, man. Oh, crap. She's still driving. Okay. I forgot that the rock is there. Steering's a little loose. I think the alignment's off, too. This isn't gonna end well. Ready? Woo! Alright, almost to the end. This one's gonna be over 4 minutes. Ready? And stop. I'm putting the clutch in, game. What the hell is this crap? You can see me putting the damn clutch in. Ooh. Ooh. 408. Hey, not bad. Not bad. It's not 351, but I screwed that up. What's that, goalie? I didn't need 4 outriggers on this lift anyway. Ooh, yeah. Not ideal. So I'm noticing some things that the mechanic's gonna need to fix. So, you know, this tire, okay, you know, the rear bumper, you know, had some problems. We had some problems there, right? That's fine. That tire looks okay. That one, you know, despite that, it actually looks okay. This one, though, yeah. Now, teaching everything that I just showed you about suspension and everything, yeah. It looks like the entire suspension is pushed backward, and it's also kind of crooked. Yeah, damaging suspension will literally ruin your car. Yeah, it looks like we're running a positive caster right there. So the strut tower is going this way. It's angled forward. Probably not a good thing. And I think we bent the control arm a little bit. Yep. We probably. Oh. Is that supposed to? Is the frame supposed to S-curve like that? Let's look at the other one for reference. Yeah, no, it's definitely not. It's definitely not supposed to do that. It's not. Oh, to an extent, it does go inboard a little bit, but I think we may have made it go too far inboard. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You see that? You see that, chat? That's what we call an insurance write-off. Yeah, that car is totaled. Yeah, that's that. See that right there? See that little bend right there? Totaled. Buy another car. Also, I think we may have. I think the drive shaft. That drive shaft's supposed to be straight. Yeah, that right there is supposed to look like that, and it looks like that, and yeah, that's not ideal. Not ideal. Yeah. Believe it or not, the funny thing is that this wouldn't total the car. That would, though. Yeah, this car is totaled. Junkyard. Oh yeah, we bent the unibody. That's. Yeah, that's broken. I'm amazed that the thing still steers. Carmax would let it off the lot. Oh, yeah, that's supposed to be over here. Yeah, we bent the frame, but the car stayed together, which is good. Yeah. Whew. It would have taken a lot to ruin your suspension, right? It doesn't take a lot, T-Man, but suspension is pretty frigging strong because it needs to hold the car up, right? It's pretty damn strong. The components on the suspension on a car is usually very built. It is made out of a lot beefier components than, say, the body, for instance, right? But yeah, we broke this. All right. Anyway, restart. Boulders are also very strong. Oh, jeez. Yeah, when force gets applied to the suspension in any direction that's not up and down, yeah. Yeah, that usually doesn't end well. All right. What else can we do to this thing? I messed with the tires on that car. I'll put it back to rally spec. Yeah, we're gonna need to... Now, you know what? I want to see the tuning on this thing. Is this running a tight suspension? Let's see. The spring rate's 35,000 Newton meters on the front suspension and 4,000 on the rear suspension. Interesting. Now, what are we running? We're running 35 on the front. What are we running on the rear? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that probably is contributing to why this thing is so sluggish in the corners. I'm going to actually put it up to 45. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. But then again, that thing's probably running 45. Is this one all-wheel drive? And if it's all-wheel drive, is it transverse? Oh, no, longitudinal. So this car has the engine going this way, transmission with a transfer case attached to the back, and then a diff that goes to the rear axle, and then a diff that's offset that goes to the front axle. This is longitudinal all-wheel drive. We have transverse all-wheel drive. I mean, long story short, with this design, with this design, your rear wheels are doing most of the work, and your front wheels do some of the work. With this design, your front wheels do a lot of the work, and your rear wheels do some of the work. We can change that. We can mess with that if we want to. Yeah, we don't need to run 45 Merkers, I don't think. Let's switch it to 4,000. Oh, wrong car, idiot. Yeah, I'm going to put the front up to 40. So what we're doing is we're adjusting how much force those springs are pushing down with. That can help with, you see, higher spring rates can push the tires into the ground, right? Giving you more traction. The problem is with a higher spring rate, if you go too high, if you get too far with the spring rate, it's going to push the tire into the ground so much that you'll go to turn and the tire won't be able to, it basically won't be able to maintain traction. You can break the tires loose, like cause them to screech if you run too much spring rate. If you force it too much into the ground, the tire will just slide around. You need to have it be able to absorb some, right? The spring rate is preload? No. It has limited slip all around, Stone, yeah. We could adjust the gear ratios out back and up front. Here, let's I have a car question. I took my car to the mechanic and see why the radiator was empty, but they couldn't find a leak. Why else would a radiator be empty? Overheating. Force, that could be two things. Ward already said it in chat. Your car could be overheating. If your car is a temp gauge, watch the temp gauge. If the temp gauge is over here, yeah, your car could be overheating. The other thing is, and once again, Warder already said it, is that your coolant is leaking out somewhere that's not so apparent. Another place where the coolant can leak out is the head gasket. So, check your oil, and if your oil looks like a chocolate milkshake, you blew a head gasket. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, that's really one. It could be one of those things. I really don't see it as anything else, unless, see, that's what's funny. Like, how are you gonna find a coolant leak when there's no coolant in the car? So they probably topped it off. But see, like the other thing is that any mechanic shop, any mechanic would know this. What? Do you trust that mechanic? Temp has always been in the middle. They did a pressure test on the coolant pipes. All right, well, let's think. What else could that be? Yeah, Hooms is right. When is the last time that you filled that thing up? I have a car question. How's a golf ball different from a Chevy? You can drive a golf ball 200 yards. That's good. Nice. Nice, man. You know what? I'm going to run an adjustable front, and then I'll run an adjustable oh yeah, it wouldn't be in front suspension, it'd be under engine. I'm back, the Wi-Fi died. What did I miss? I'm just messing with this, Demos. But D, if you asked the question, is, you know, how hard is it to learn this? It's not hard to learn it if you know why you want to learn it. I don't know if you heard that part, but that's very important. I like showing people the end goal with this, like how trig in geometry, trig, calc, why you have to learn that stuff to understand what this is doing. It's very important. It's a 2001 Forester. It doesn't have a V4. It has an H4. Flat 4 O-Force. 2.5. EJ25s are notorious for blowing head gaskets. So, what's a blown head gasket? A head gasket is your coolant galleries, right? The coolant lines, the coolant passageways through the engine are leaking through the head gasket into the combustion chamber. So, O-Force... if the combustion chamber, if where your head, they could check the oil. I mean, they could check the system, and the system could be pressurized, even with a blown head gasket. It could be pressurized because that cylinder could, both the exhaust and the intake valve on that cylinder could be closed, where your head gasket leak is. You should turn the motor over and then check the pressure on the system again. Check it at different times, check it at top dead center for the 1, 2, 3, and 4 piston. And see if it pressurizes 4 ways there. Because I guarantee that doesn't make any sense. Your coolant system can't be pressurized and you lose coolant because you have a leak. That's not how that works. It's one or the other. Your coolant doesn't just go off into Narnia, you know what I mean? Yeah, the coolant lines could also be clogged. Yeah. Have them... your water pump could be broken. There's a bunch of things. Heck, coolant could be leaking out the water pump bearing. The impeller bearing. It could be rusted shut. But if your coolant is staying okay, yeah, that sounds like head gasket, man. If your coolant temp isn't going high. I mean, it's going to go high when you run out of coolant, but... Yeah, you got to pressure test when the motor's up to temp. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, Warder, if the impeller isn't working on the water pump, it's not moving the coolant, and the coolant will boil off. Oh, of course, I don't mean to be a dickweed, but it sounds like you blew a head gasket, which is normal. Those engines are notorious for doing that. Subaru engines like blowing head gaskets. I don't know why. It's just something with the design. Well, if the bearing is rusted shut, Warder, right? If it's rusted shut, the impeller's not going to move. It could be leaking out the impeller bearing. It could be, but you'd see the leak. You're right. I'll ask them about the head gasket. Got it. All right, let's get back to this. Let's see. Here, let me move the car. See, we're peeling the front wheels before we do that. You know what I should do? We should run a bigger gear out back. Let's run 410s out back and see what it does. Still burning those rear tires. Is there anything that we can set with the transfer case here? That transfer case gearing... Stone, what do you think? That transfer case gearing has to be super freaking low. No, it's not totaled, Ananas. You can replace it. EJ25s are in pretty high volume. Yeah, just replace the motor. Drove the car 100 miles in the last week. The power steering fluid is also leaking and the transmission fluid. It won't matter, just change the final drive. I mean, what are we going to put? 450s in this thing? Ooh, it does not like that. Yeah, that's... You see how the car, when it accelerates, it's kind of shifting weight back and forth? We don't want that. Yeah, that's right, Warder. That's exactly what we're doing. I'm taking this GM L or A body and trying to rally it. Four 11s out back could be good. And you know what? I'm going to up the front as well. We'll put 373s up front. I'm trying to get this thing to transfer power to the rear wheels first, but that's hard to do with a transverse front-wheel drive car. Well, it's all-wheel drive, but it's a transverse motor, so I'm wondering if there's something that we can mess with. All-wheel drive transfer... Oh. Welded race all-wheel drive transfer case. Ah. Bingo. Here we go. Lowering the ride height on the front would help. Yeah. Reduce compression stiffness on the rear shocks. Yeah, we have a center diff now. Are you dialing this in because you trust the suspension setup fully? In terms of hardware, CJ, yeah, absolutely. There's not much, we can't do much better than the parts I have underneath it. That's why I'm dialing it in. Lowering the ride height would unload the rear, though. We got to have ground clearance, Warder, with a rally car. That's the thing about rally cars. They have to be high up off the ground. Because you're going to be going over bumps and rocks and stuff, dude. It's an off-road car. It's not a race car, you know what I mean? So it does get to be a little crazy. So our center diff, base torque split, percent torque to rear wheels. I'm going to... Let's do 70-30 and we'll see what that does. Oh. Ooh. Not sure it likes that. Let's try 60-40. Oh no, no problem. Here, let me, because we changed that, let me switch this. Let's run 376 front and rear with 60% to the back. Yeah, Stone. Mm-hmm. See, this is why I like messing with the cars that the devs make, because you can change a lot of things on these cars. The mod cars you can't really change too much. 65-35 would be about where you want. All right, we can put it up there. This is 65% to the rear wheels. That's correct. Rear suspension still compressed a little bit. I'm going to up the spring rate now that we're running more of a rear wheel drive bias. Yeah, Stone. That's why I like messing with the stock ones the most. What space launches out of Tallahassee? No one, IQ. SpaceX has recovery ships up there sometimes. I'm gonna put more camber in over the rear wheels. We're gonna tilt those tires inwards a little bit. Should help with handling now. And we're running a little bit of toe in. You know what? I think we're good for another shot. One rally 3. Maybe up the rebound. Here, let me check. Ooh. That's a lot. That's very soft. That's a very soft damper. Do you see it? Now this... Ooh. I lowered the tire pressure. 25 PSI is high. What do you think? You want to drop it down? I mean, we are on dirt, so lower tire pressure. I'll put it down to 20, dude. But have you said that this is a rally car and not a race car, so it does movements when you accelerate and brake? Just trying to understand better. We want the stiff. We want the suspension to be a little bit stiffer, Diaz. You don't. With a race car, you do want stiff suspension, but not as stiff as a rally car. I need to be able to push these tires into the dirt to create traction. Now, we're running a lot of this right here. Watch. Let me slow down the simulation. Oh, see that? Yeah, that's... Yeah, we're definitely going to want more... We got to up the damping forces. That's no good. See all that travel that it had when we absorbed it? We don't want that. We want it to absorb that shock a lot faster. That was better. Let's go up here. When did Be About all this? It's been in there for a while, Warder. Yeah, see, that's much better. Fast bump damping, I'm going to put up to 10,000. I think that should be good. Basically, I need to... The reason why I'm upping this is because we have a very, 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 very tight spring, which means it's very strong. It's pushing down a lot on that tire. I need to be able to absorb the bumps fast because we're on dirt. So it's a lot of uneven surfaces, a lot of gravel. Like, when you go over the bump, you don't want the tire to go up here and then take a while for it to come back down when you compress the suspension. I want it to absorb the bumps faster. And you can do that with higher bump and higher rebound. So bump damping is how quickly it stops the thing from going up. Rebound is how quickly it pushes the thing back down into position. I'm going to put the rebound up at 7,000 too. Oh, very nice. Very nice, very nice. Now I'm going to do the same up front. We're going to run 7,000. 7,000 bump. We might need to run a little bit more because we have the engine up front, so... Very tight like a tiger. Yes, I can tell from your tight bench. Alright, ready? Ah, very good. Slow down the simulation. Ready? Ooh, we bottomed out. We might need more spring over that front. Yeah. Yeah, Melk, I tweaked a little bit of toe in on the rear. There's a little bit, see? We could put it in more if you want. 5 should be good. More spring, less autumn. I think we need stronger springs up front, Stone. Here, let's watch it in slow motion. It bottomed out. Gotta go stiffer. Yeah, we need stiffer suspension than that. Can't have it bottom out like that. I'm gonna put this all the way up to 60,000. Oh, did I? Damn it. We had that dialed in too. Hang on. Oh gosh, it's like we're running switches. I don't know if you're hitting bumps that hard. Well, it should tell me pretty reasonably. Ready? See how quickly that tire went back into its position? That's good. That's what we want. But it compressed the hell out of that tire. It's bottoming out, but we're dropping it from a really high height. We really only want to drop it from like right here. It still seems soft, man, even with 60,000. But I mean, that's the dampers, so I think we could try with this. Let's go. Let's do this. It's stiff, Milk? Yeah. All right, let's give it a shot. On our rally course, hopefully your boy doesn't crash. We might need to mess with the roll bars to control that body roll, but ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Ooh, parking brake's still on. Moron. 1, 2, 3, go. Ooh, very nice. Hey, Clayton. And once again, guys, all we're doing is suspension tweaks. Ooh, that's very good. I haven't messed with the engine at all. We've messed with pretty much everything but the engine. Very good. Oh god, yeah, body roll almost killed me there. It got a little floaty going through that. Yeah, I know. I need that handbrake badly. I don't have one, Milk, so I have to kind of compensate, dude. Oh! We absorbed the bump real good, though. Nice, Clayton. There you go. Marcus steer, yep. Oh, that's a terrible way to go through that corner. I'm not sure. Super. I put the clutch in game. Shut up. I put the clutch in again. We're absorbing the bumps pretty well, though. You need oversteer. It's a front-wheel drive car, Gorilla. That's what we're trying to solve that problem, bud. I know what I need. It's just we have to figure out a way to get it. All right, here's the jumps. Ready? Let's see how it takes it. Very nice. Very nice. All right, coming up on the finish line. And stop. Woo! The suspension made a big difference. What did we get? 359. Okay. I did have that part where I almost died, so... You don't need to clutch with a real sequential gearbox. Yeah, if we were running a real sequential one, yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stone, the problem is I just don't think I don't think that little V6 is up to the task, dude. We might need to do some performance upgrades. So that was 359. Well, I don't know how you do this, but if I need oversteer in real life, I stiffen the front springs or soften the rear. Okay, Junkyard. Yeah. I mean, Dude, we're running a fair bit of stiffness out back. It's 40,000 Newton meters, that's a lot of stiffness for the rear. We could go up more. Might have to Americanize it with a big old V8. Nah, then that'll screw up our weight distribution pretty bad. For real though, should I try to learn myself or go to school for it? Anything that has to do with mechanical DMOS, do not try to teach yourself. Anything that's science, technology, engineering, and math, do not self-teach yourself. It's going to take forever, and it takes 4 times the amount of time. Just go to school. Just go to school and do it. Trust me. Take it from somebody that taught themselves all this. Just go to school for it. It's easier. Soften the rear? You think so, Junk? I don't want to. I mean, we got to be able to absorb the bumps, though. See, now I realize why people like rallying so much. This is dude. It is a balance. You have to find a perfect balance with the suspension because, you know, you're at odds with traction literally all the time. So right now I'm running. I mean, we can run 80 to the rear if we want, or 75 is the most we can do. You soften out the rear, I think you'll be good. But I thought tightening the rear suspension is a better way to break the tires loose. That's why drift cars run really tight rear suspension. Is it something about it being on dirt that would change it? Soften the shocks and stiffen the springs, old hot rod style. Drift cars are rear-wheel drive, though. Yeah. I mean, this has rear-wheel drive, dude. In that regard, maybe I should go with a tighter spring. Tighter spring, and let's drop this back down to 65. Doesn't want to break loose. I mean, it is all-wheel drive. It just doesn't want to break loose. But then again, that was on concrete. Here. All right. I think we have the right idea. I don't think this V6 is up to the challenge. Look at how difficult it is for me to get that rear end to come out. Even if I clutch kick the damn thing. Man. We made this thing grip like you would not believe, dude. It's gripping for days. Even in the freaking grass. Look at this thing go over the bumps. I'm sorry, that's funny as hell. Not a lot. It's like a 3.3 or something. I think we need more torque to break the rear end loose. I think that's the key. Here, let's. I did not do anything to the engine. This is the stock motor. We might need more torque to get this thing up and running here. Let's go in here. Hey, okay, the CJ performance intake. This is a mod now, but that mod should let you do stupid things here. Intake. Turbo. You know what? I won't use mods. Let's get a little supercharger on this thing. You know, instead of the mods. Just go full Cletus. 'Cause, We could... Supercharger plus rally, though? Now, actually, this is a question for me. What would be the better application? Would a supercharger be better for rally, or would a turbo? If I'm remembering off the top of my head, most rally cars are turbocharged. Now, see, now I want to know why. Centrifugal, that's period correct. Well, here, let's see what it is. It's not a Pro Charger. It's a Roots. Oh, look at the little Roots. Turbo is always better for racing. Robs less power from the engine. Yeah, Edwards, that makes sense. Yeah, because superchargers are parasitic because the turbine or the compressor is driven off the belt. It's parasitic, so you're robbing the engine of power, but the supercharger usually makes up for it. Yeah, exactly. The anti-lag with the turbo merkers, I think because they don't want to rob the motor of power. Most rally cars are displacement restricted. Well, there's your problem. There it is, mind of noodles. I don't know a lot about WRC, dude. If they're displacement restricted, you're going to want a turbocharger. Because a supercharger at low RPM... Oh, I'm sure that's good for it. A supercharger at low RPM is going to rob you of power. You made soup? All right. A 2-liter is usually the limit. What is the 2.2 inline 4 have? Oh, look at it. We can only run a supercharger with it. Okay, Brimo. Yeah, what Warder said. Rally engine's high rev and needs turbos to stay in the high end. Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, we had the 3.3 in there before, if I'm remembering right. So here, let me go back to one rally. Let's load that. I mean, see, I don't know which one of these are mods. I like messing with the parts that are not modded, but 1.6 i4 rally engine. I think that might be a modded. Ooh. Single overhead cam, though. But it revs for days. We had a pretty bad one yesterday, 2020, but yeah. Well... See, I don't, like, once again, I don't know which one of these is... 8K from a single overhead cam. Hey, Beam is right, but sometimes the mod parts are not correct, man. Well, we kept with that 3.3 V6, though. Maybe we should just stick with that. Oh, yeah, Stone. It was bad, dude. Yeah. I mean, what do you guys want to do? Should we make the car to rally spec? Should we make it rally spec? Screw it, take the engine out. We don't need it. We're going down a hill. It'll be fine. I mean, should we adhere to the rally rules or just... Yeah, alright. Well, if we're adhering to WRC rally rules, then we would want the lower displacement engine. Find the specs. Okay. can't mess with that. It has to be an inline 4, right? This is from Toyota Gazoo. In Group B, a 2-liter naturally aspirated equivalent is equivalent to Turbo 1.3. I know, Clayton, it's fine. Not worried. You could boost it, yeah, if you have the right tuning. Once again, Junkyard, we're kind of limited by mods here. What's the 2.0 race engine? Let's see. It's still running a single overhead cam. Now, let's see if we can find a motor that's dual overhead. 2.2 i4. Still running. It's, well, at least the model is a single overhead cam. Yeah, Havocs, it was good. Flipping the jet truck was funny. Thanks. Alright. See, now we're messing with the mods. Now we're messing with a lot of the mods. Yeah, Warder, something... See, this is why I don't like messing with the modded stuff, because it's not right. It's not correct. I think this one is an engine that comes in the car. So, here, hold on. Let me just, while we're messing with this, I'm going to take the hood off, cleater style. Just for now. We're not gonna run with the hood off, but it's easier to see the motor. Oh, jeez. Yep, that looks very period correct. .380 horse, 450 Newton meters. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we need to get rid of this. Let's go. Let's build the motor. Where's the intake manifold? Oh my goodness. That's ridiculous. Give me a dry sump, because we're gonna be going all over the place. Yeah. Single overhead cam turbo. This looks like something out of an SVO Mustang, except it's facing the wrong direction. Alright. 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 One rally. Excuse me. One rally. This freaking car. Alright. This is a thing. Hang on, let's see if we can... High performance radiator. Sure, why not? We're pretty much out of time, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go ham on this and... put some racing seats. Hey Marvin, what's going on? No trim. Rally spec. Hang on. We gotta go into the rear bumper, and I have to get wide body. Hold up. Yeah, no. Let's get the facelift. Where do I download cars? Go up here, where it says mods, and then go to the repository and just search for what you're looking for. There's stuff in here that you can find. You can download it right through, or you can go with the Beam forums. Take out the windscreen? No. You have to have the windscreen, Ein. What's the mass of this car? I'm not sure. I'd have to weigh it. Alright. This is fine. Hang on. What's the Derby front bumper? Hold on. Front Derby bumper. What's that? That it.
Clifton,
Yes.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Yeah, I'm not showing that. Funny, but yeah, I'm not. That's inappropriate. Front box bumper. Hold on, what's this? Oh, jeez. No, all right, just give me the facelift bumper for Christ's sake. I know I have. It's a 2.2, but this is the non-modded engine, so this is the closest we're gonna get. I don't like using the modded engines. They're never configured right. All right, let's do this. Ready? Get the timers ready. This thing's gonna scream, dudes. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. That V6 may have been better. Whoa! Okay, we definitely got the power to break the rear end loose. Let me go ahead and rewind there. I'm taking a... we took basically a 90s A-body snap and made it into a rally car. This thing is like it's like a Beretta or a Lumina combined with like a Cutlass. We have the drivetrains from a GM A body, but the chassis of an L body, which is weird. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. Oh jeez. Oh god, no, I'm whipping out. I'm whipping out. Yeah, tuning. Beam is awesome, dude. You can mess with, like, you can use it. It's like one of the. You could use it to teach people about this stuff. It's one of the best simulators out there. I mean, it's not the best, but you'd be hard pressed to find a sandbox car game where you can do this kind of stuff to cars. Like, you can't take a race car in iRacing and make it into a rally car. You can do that in this game. Hey, I put the clutch in. Come on. It still handles turns like a freaking battleship. I'm gonna die. Well. Nope. 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 I broke it. I broke it. I broke it. We gotta start over. Damn. Ah. Crap. I broke it. Stop the timer. Not gonna lie, these Beam streams are sort of my favorite. Dude, I love doing stupid things with cars in this. It's fantastic. You know what? Hold on. I gotta do one more thing. Let me go into... There we go. Can you add real maps to this game? If you model it, yeah, sure. Alright. You always make cars look good. Have you ever made a bad looking car on purpose? No? Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, yep, we're getting a little bit of oversteer. Now we're talking. Hey, I put the clutch in, game. What the hell? Oh, it did not like the weight transfer there. Caught it that time. I don't have an e-brake. No, it would be useful. That's for sure. I don't know why it's telling me that I'm grinding the gears. I'm definitely not. You can see me put the damn clutch in. And we die. Sorry, the clutch grinding was grinding my freaking gears, man. Alright, we gotta restart. Clutch better. Yeah. Thanks. Love to snap. That'd be awesome. You know what? I kind of want that 336 back, but it's okay. What is your PC? Specs are down there. Let's try it again. It has the best brakes that we could on there. Alright. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, CJ, welcome to Mission Control. You're going throttle up. Thanks, man. 3:51 was the time to beat. That was my fastest. I did that wrong. I just don't know how to drive rally, dudes, that's all. No, no. Oh, jeez. I'm putting in the clutch game. No, shut up. Car's broken again. Screw it. I'm finishing it though. We're almost to the end. Send it. Don't send it. Nope. Nope. Something's wrong with the alignment from that stupid goddamn rock. Get out of the way, Hood. I can't see anything. Get the hell off the car. All right, screw it. Nope, we're done. I wedged it. We're done. I couldn't freaking figure it out. It's not really how limited slip differentials work, game, but alright. Snap the tie rod on the front tire, see how it's not turning. Frickin' thing wouldn't get the fuck out of the way. Ah, I almost had it. We gotta do it one more time. Your gearbox is too long. Here, we'll fix that. Why don't we put these up here at 455s? Okay? Here. There's no way we're gonna turn that thing. Alright. Maybe some brake bias towards the rear. Let me check. What are we running? 72. I'm gonna turn the brake force down, actually. It's really easy to lock the front tires, and if you lock it, that's game over. Let's run 70-30. Alright. Excuse me. One rally. Alright. Ready? Can only do this one or two more times, then I gotta start Space News. 1, 2, 3. Whoa! Oh, this thing moves with those gears with 460s front and rear. Oh man. That was smooth. That wasn't. This is the Italy map, yep. Got to be careful. This turn falls away from you. Oh no! I got out of the corner too quickly. Come on. We're dragging something, probably the front bumper. Car's still performing okay. We might have a little bit of a coolant problem here in a moment. Nope, that's it. That's where that friggin' thing belongs. That one frigging rock always screws me up. Where's that damn corner? Hold on. Frickin' thing, man. Alright, so we go down here Down there. I got all this pretty much figured out. That's pretty good. Right? Down here. Where's that damn corner with that stupid friggin' rock? It's down here. Okay. There's a little kink in the road right there. It's this one right here. That friggin' thing. Mod the rock out. I could. Or I could drive the track correctly. And that sucks because that's like 2/3 of the way through the route, which is really annoying. We'll get it. Gotta make more torque. We have to make more torque somehow. Where are you from? The US. Okay. Lower the gears. Lower gears. What do you mean lower gears? 496? Oh, okay. Alright, we'll go to 496, dude. This thing is like useless as a road vehicle, but then again, we ain't making a road vehicle, so. Whoa! Alright, okay, okay, alright. This dash, though. Man, this thing is ridiculous, dude. Alright. 2 more tries, seriously. Then I actually mean that. 2 more tries and then we're done. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Hey, Ando. Too much. Still all right. Nope, nope, something's wrong. God damn it. Yeah. Alright. Last try, guys. Ready? Timer's ready. One, 2, 3. Tried to flick it, guys. It just understeered. I tried to flick it around the corner. It didn't work. Doesn't help that I money shifted either. want at least one clean run, man. Damn it. You know what, car? Guys, this thing won't flick. It will not flick. It just understeers like a crazy melon farmer. Like, it doesn't flick. No matter how hard I try to get this thing to flick, even if I clutch kick the thing, it's still not gonna do it. E-brake. Like, I mean, I don't know how many times I need to tell you that I don't have that, but, I mean, I don't have that, so, yeah, it's not really gonna help me. This is the track. I'm putting the clutch in. I don't know why it's not picking it up. Alright, here comes the rock corner. What? Does it still count if your car goes through some weight reduction? Ready? 1, 2, 3, stop. Yeah, that's what I mean, Stone. I can't get the thing to flick, dude. Even with throttle control, you still can't get it to flick. 345, all right. Oh, we can do better than that. That sucks. I'm putting the clutch in, dude. It's just not, it isn't, maybe I'm not pushing it all the way in. Like, I don't know. That was the best time, yeah. This thing won't flick. It will not. It understeers like crazy. Even with the 4-banger up there, it still understeers. Did you have a stop in that run? I don't know. Yeah, okay, Stone. Yeah, cool. Dude, it doesn't... It will not flick, dude. I'm telling you. Well, it moves the weight around like a rally car, that's for sure. See? Won't flick, dude. Not even on concrete. Won't do it. Here, let's try it even with the e-brake. Ready? Nope. Nope. It won't flick. There's a supercharger on it, Si. We tried taking limited slip off the front. No. No, we haven't done that. Look, even riding the clutch, dude, doesn't do anything. Nothing. That's the problem with this. We got to figure out a way to get the back end to tilt out so I can flick the car, because if I can't flick the car, it's just gonna understeer through those corners. I'm not sure how we'll do that, but make it rear-wheel drive. Yeah. Oh! And on that bombshell, it's time to end. No, time for space news. Thank you very much for watching. Tonight. And keep it here live and tuned to the Eric Johnson Space Administration Channel 1 for the Eric Johnson Space and Rocket Review coming up here next on